You're doing everything yourself because no one could do it as good as you. You're stuck in constant planning but never executing. You're redoing things that were already done. You're tweaking your offer for the 12th time. Or maybe you're saying yes to everything because you're afraid to delegate or disappoint. Hello, and welcome back to Rebel to Rise, where business meets human design. And today, I want to know, have you ever had one of those moments where you realize, oh shit, I'm the problem? Like one day you wake up and realized, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. And yes, I think of those exact words every time I have one of these epiphanies. So today I want to talk to who's doing all the right things, but still feels stuck. You've got the strategy, you've got the vision, you're putting in the effort, and yet things aren't flowing like they should. So what if the thing in your way is actually you? I'm talking about what it means to be the bottleneck in your own business. And more importantly, how to shift out of that energy, because trust me, I have been there. I have micromanaged. I have second guessed every move. I've over-controlled. And all that did was clog the way to the freedom I was so craving. I first want to start off by sharing the exact moment I realized I was the problem, what I was doing, and how I stopped making success harder than it had to be. So if you're constantly overthinking, trying to do it all, or just holding on so tight, nothing can actually support you, this is for you. Let's talk about releasing resistance, embracing joy, and being the kind of leader who knows how to get out of their own damn way. So first up, I will tell you the story of the exact moment I realized I was the bottleneck in my own business and really in my own life. This has, without a doubt, happened more than once, and I'm sure it'll happen again, but I want to tell you this specific story because the more I've gotten to know myself, I keep thinking there couldn't be more to learn. But then I get hit in the face with a truth bomb I didn't see coming. And this was one of those exact moments. I was on a call talking about imposter syndrome, and this is something I've struggled with before, and I think it's something we all struggle with at some point or another, and I don't know if it necessarily goes away, but the person I was talking to said, what if imposter syndrome really means you're not being you enough? And I was like, what the hell did you just say? That hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm not being me enough? What does that have to do anything? I had been trying everything to get clients. I had hired many coaches with different specialties. I signed up for all the courses. I refined my messaging. I learned every strategy under the sun. And I felt so lit up by what I was offering. I knew I could help people. And when I talked to people, they loved me. But inside, I was still feeling like a fraud. I thought I just kept having to learn more, and eventually I will be that person people will just want to hire. I didn't realize that imposter syndrome, it didn't matter how much I knew, but it mattered who I was being. I was showing up like this version of a coach I thought people wanted to see. You know the one, the polished professional, always saying the right thing. But doing that, I was actually putting on a mask. It wasn't allowing me to be me, to let my actual magic shine through. I was overthinking every post and offer. I was trying to prove I had it all together instead of just being honest. I thought I could just do more and I'd finally feel successful. But the truth was, I was burning myself out trying to do it all and trying to be someone else. This wasn't imposter syndrome. This wasn't a confidence problem. It was a self-trust problem. I didn't need to fix myself. I just needed to be myself. And I have to say, that is one of the most terrifying things. It's not a surprise why I was trying to be someone else. I think so many of us try to be other people because we are afraid to let our true selves be seen. I was trying so hard to lead from my head, perfecting, planning, overanalyzing, that I forgot my power is in my heart, in being present, vulnerable, and real, in trusting my vision, in doing what actually lights me up. The moment I stopped trying to be perfect and started being me, everything started to shift. It wasn't about being an imposter or not confident enough or I need another strategy, work harder. It really came back to reconnecting with myself and trusting what I was capable of already without trying to be more. I was enough. So now you might be wondering, how do you tell if you're the bottleneck? So let's talk about what being a bottleneck actually looks like, because most of us don't even realize what we're doing. We're following along what we've been told by coaches, by mentors, emulating those around us. So we might not pick up on specifically what we're doing to be the bottleneck. We think that we're just being responsible or thorough by making sure it's done right. But when you do that, when you're reviewing every single task before it goes out, you're avoiding launching until the copy is just right, or you're staying stuck in research mode instead of taking action. You're not being strategic when you do that. You're being the bottleneck. It's not because you're lazy or broken or bad at business. It's because deep down you care. I think we're all in our roles as leaders because we care. We want to help others. You want it to go well. You want to serve people. You want to feel proud of what you're putting out there. But when we don't trust ourselves or the support systems we've built, it's easy to start gripping too tightly. We start trying to control the outcome. We micromanage, we procrastinate, we say we're getting clarity when what we're really doing is overthinking. Here are a few specific ways this can show up. You're doing everything yourself because no one could do it as good as you. You're stuck in constant planning but never executing. You're redoing things that were already done instead of moving forward. You're tweaking your offer, your website, or your post for the 12th time instead of just hitting publish, which is my personal Achilles heel. Or maybe you're saying yes to everything because you're afraid to delegate or disappoint. But here's the kicker. We don't become the bottleneck because we're doing too much. We become the bottleneck because we care too much and don't trust that our desires, our systems, or support will catch us. And this makes sense if you've always had to do everything yourself, if you've been burned by support that dropped the ball, or if your worth has been tied to your productivity or perfectionism, or if you think success comes from pushing harder. So of course you're going to be gripping harder, trying to control the outcome. But that's not leadership. That's survival. And survival is not a strategy for sustainable success. And I'm guessing if you're anything like me and you're here listening to me talk, it's because you want to not just survive, but you want to thrive in all areas of your life. So now you've hopefully identified some of the actions that you're taking that might be causing you to be a bottleneck. And I want to welcome you to the club because it's more common than you think. And now that you're aware that you're a bottleneck, the real question becomes, how do you shift out of it? Because you can't solve bottleneck energy with more pressure. You can't force yourself to be more at ease and stop white-knuckling your way through. You need a new approach and one rooted in trust, support, and alignment. So let me walk you through a few shifts that helped me help my clients and might help you too. The first shift is build systems that don't rely on you being on all the time. When everything depends on you showing up 100%, you will burn out. It's not a question if, it's going to be when you burn out. So instead, ask yourself, what processes could be automated, delegated, or simplified? How can you build a business that keeps moving even when you need to rest? This doesn't mean outsourcing everything at once. It means starting small. Maybe it's just a weekly task you batch, a client process you turn into a template, or frankly, letting someone else hit publish on that email you keep trying to edit for the 12th time. Start small and work your way up. Structure isn't about restriction. It's about liberation. Having these systems is how you stop being the bottleneck and start being the visionary you are meant to be. The second shift is trade control for clarity. This has been the hardest one for me because control feels safe. It gives you the illusion of certainty of what's going to happen. But clarity is what actually sets you free because you can never actually control the outcome. And that is one of the hardest things to accept. You could work as hard as you can, but you can never actually know what's going to happen in the future. Clarity comes from slowing down long enough to ask, what am I afraid of here? What story am I telling myself about what happens if I let go? When I stopped trying to control every detail and focused on staying connected to my vision, everything softened within me. I can make space for support. I was able to let my content be a little messier. I could just trust the timing as things unfolded, because the more I let go of needing to get it right, the more right things started to feel. When I removed that pressure, that perfectionism, and just allowed myself to shine, it was so freeing. And shift number 3, let support in. Even if it's imperfect, you have to let people help you, or at least help yourself. This one is so hard for high achievers, but the sooner you realize you aren't meant to do it all alone, the lighter you will start to feel. And support could look like a team member, a coach, a friend, a system, a new automation. And support can even look like when you implement batching and planning to help your future self out, because your future self will thank you for laying the groundwork to make your life easier. The key is to release the belief that you're the only one that could carry it all, do it all, and implement the vision. Because when you cling to that belief, you don't leave room for other people or resources that are trying to help. People want to help you. And if you've been burned before, I see you. I have been burned more than once, and it's very hard to let go when you've learned that you're the only one that'll be there for you, or the only one that you can trust to do it right. But that's where leadership asks you to stretch, to trust again, to lead from possibility and not protection or fear of what if. Someone burns you, but not everyone will. You need to be open to trying again and finding the right help for you. So the bottom line is, to stop being the bottleneck, you have to stop making success harder than it needs to be. You have to let it be easier, even if it's unfamiliar or uncomfortable at first. Because ease, it's the doorway to expansion. Success isn't about working so hard you're suffering day in and day out. It's about getting out of your own damn way and learning to lighten your load so there's a bit more space to see and implement the big picture vision and not get caught in the weeds. And when you're out of the weeds, there's room to focus on what you actually want to be doing. And that's where the magic happens. This is what I want you to remember. You're not behind, you're not broken, and you don't need to keep doing all this alone. If you've been feeling stuck, spinning your wheels, or like no matter what you do, it's never enough, pause and ask yourself, am I the one in my own way? Because awareness is the first step. And the moment you notice it, you reclaim your power. You get to choose a new path, one with support, more alignment, and a hell of a lot more ease. This doesn't have to be as hard as you're making it. You don't need to do more. You need to trust more. You don't need to fix yourself. You just need to be yourself. You don't need to hustle harder. You need to get out of your own way. So take a breath and check in. Where am I gripping on too hard, trying to control? What would feel easier if I let go a little? What kind of support am I craving? And am I open to receiving it? If this episode hit home for you, come say hi, leave a comment, or leave a review. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway or what you're letting go after listening to this. And if you want support shifting from bottleneck to bold, aligned leader, the kind who doesn't try to do it all, but does create success on their terms, I'm here for you, ready to guide you every step of the way. Because you deserve to build a business that supports you and not one that drains you. All right, my friends, that is it for today. Until next time, keep rebelling, keep rising. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Rebel to Rise, where business meets human design. I hope you feel inspired to break free from those shoulds in your life and trust your inner compass as you create a life and business that truly lights you up. Remember, every day is a chance to rebel against the ordinary and rise into your authentic power. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow rebel who's ready to lead their lives unapologetically. Until next time, keep trusting your intuition, keep breaking the rules, and most importantly, keep rising.